North Korea, isolated from the rest of the world, ruled by a dictator, a country whose people suffer from international sanctions because their ruler instills terror in the world. We're traveling through the world's most secretive country. Our first morning in the capital of Kim Jong-un's empire. About 3 million people live on the banks of the Taedong River. It is a privilege to live in Pyongyang. The government controls who gets to move here and who doesn't. We encountered the so-called motivational brigades, cheering up the capital's workers on their morning commute. We leave for our first excursion into Korean everyday life. Immediately, we learn that impromptu interviews are not allowed. It's not just that we are not allowed to talk to anyone. It is not permitted for North Koreans to come in contact with foreigners. Volleyball is the most popular recreational sport in the country, our guides tell us. Tennis is another trend, they say. Finally, they do permit us to talk to a player. We ask him why the sport is important to him.
Our people have to become fit to be able to defend ourselves against the Americans. Together, we will defeat the enemies. That is our people's first duty.
But is he really afraid that the U.S. attacked?
Yeah. We are not afraid. We are prepared.
Everywhere in the city, there are huge portraits of the big leaders. Kim Il-sung and his son, Kim Jong-il, the father of the Kim clan's youngest dictator, Kim Jong-un. The Arch of Triumph is dedicated to Kim Jong-un's grandfather, the eternal president. We are welcomed by the official tourist guide. Mrs. Kim proudly tells us that this arch is 5 meters higher than its famous model in Paris.
Up here you can see the text of our beloved song of Kim Il-sung. 장백산 줄기줄기 피어린 좌우 압록강 굽이굽이 피어린 좌우.
Pyongyang looks a lot like a Russian city, but there is also a distinctive Chinese influence. Whatever the Kim family's youngest offspring announces in his capital is not only law, but also a promise.
Our respected Marshal Kim Jong-un has called upon us to establish a global power in sports, science, and economy. Sports is very popular at the moment, and we aim to become even better at it.
Our attendants lead us to another gem of Pyongyang, the metro. Its stations are among the deepest in the world. In the event of war, they are supposed to provide shelter from airstrikes. Sheltered, or rather shielded, is also what the population is from independent media. The internet is banned in North Korea. There is no free press. The only source of information available are public newspapers, which only spread propaganda. The old metro cars are from West Berlin. Model Dora was produced in the 1950s and 60s. In 1997, they were sold to North Korea. Engraved into their windows are traces of the youth of Berlin. In the metro, commuters are constantly exposed to propaganda as well. We're allowed to travel with them for one stop. At Yongwang Station, we are told to get off again. Visiting the kindergarten, Gyeongsang. It is a privilege to be allowed to live in Pyongyang. And it is an even greater privilege for your kids to attend an institution like this. After all, it's the future elite of the country that is educated here.
We teach sports because it strengthens the body and makes it healthy and resistant. This is how these children will continue to make our country flourish in the future.
The little ones are taken care of from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Today, they are drawing snowmen, stock still and disciplined. Nobody is disruptive. Suddenly there's a blackout. Everybody remains surprisingly calm, as this happens frequently. Five-year-old Kam Kong-sung is the star of the Gyeongsang kindergarten. Prelude in D minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. Allegedly, she has only had classes for 1 year. Those who have talent are being nurtured and shown off. Another highlight, the kindergarten orchestra is giving a special performance in 3/4 time in our honor. The residents of Pyongyang are doing splendidly. That is what they want to show us. Leisure activities keep them in good spirits, as Kim Jong-il, the current dictator's father, had already realized.